What's up, football fans? If you missed Utah versus Kansas State this past Saturday night, you missed one of the wildest games of the entire 2025 season. I'm talking about a game that had everything: record-breaking rushing yards, a 100-yard pick-two comeback drama, and a stadium shaking so hard the cameras couldn't stay steady. Head coach Kyle Whittingham called it one for the ages, and honestly, that might be an understatement. Today, we're breaking down this absolute roller coaster and looking ahead to Utah's crucial matchup against Kansas this Friday. Let's get into it. So picture this. Kansas State comes into Rice-Eccles Stadium and absolutely demolishes Utah's run defense. We're talking 342 rushing yards by halftime, 342 by halftime. And it gets worse. They were averaging 18 yards per carry with 5 runs of 30-plus yards. That's not defense, that's a track meet. This was officially the worst rushing defensive half in Utah history. Let that sink in. In the entire history of Utah football, this was the worst they'd ever been gashed on the ground in a single half. The Wildcats weren't done either. They kept piling it on in the second half, finishing with 472 total rushing yards, Utah's worst defensive performance ever against the run. Kansas State scored their 5th rushing touchdown to push the lead to 47-35 with just 7 minutes left in the game. At that point, most fans probably thought it was over. Utah was down 12, their defense was getting torched, and time was running out. But this is where things got absolutely crazy. Kansas State decided to go for 2 after that touchdown, trying to extend the lead even further. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Utah's Tao Johnson stepped up, intercepted the 2-point attempt, and took it back the other way for over 100 yards. A pick-two. Do you know how rare that is? That's a 4-point swing right there, cutting the deficit from 12 points down to just 8 and completely flipping the momentum. Rice-Eccles Stadium went absolutely nuts. The energy shifted in an instant. Suddenly, Utah had life, and Kansas State was on their heels. Devin Dampier then led a touchdown drive, hitting Larry Simmons to make it 47-44. We're talking about a 12-point comeback in just a few minutes of game time. The place was absolutely electric. But here's where it gets even better. 4th and 1. Game on the line. Everything riding on one play. Dampier takes the snap, breaks through the line, and just explodes downfield. I'm talking about a run so explosive that the TV cameras were literally shaking. The broadcast feed looked like it was about to break because the stadium was rocking so hard. He took it all the way down to the 5-yard line, setting up his own game-winning touchdown. Final score, Utah 51, Kansas State 47. The Utes had just pulled off one of the most improbable comebacks of the season, keeping their Big 12 title game and playoff hopes alive. Sure, they need some help from teams ahead of them, but they're still in it. That's all that matters. Now, Utah closes out the regular season with a trip to Lawrence to face the Kansas Jayhawks this Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on ESPN. Kansas is sitting at 5-6, needing this win to become bowl eligible. They're 3-5 in Big 12 play, with wins over struggling teams like Oklahoma State, UCF, and West Virginia, all teams dealing with major issues this season. Here's what makes this matchup interesting: Utah's offense versus Kansas's defense. According to the advanced metrics, Utah has the 10th-ranked offense in the Power 4, while Kansas has the 53rd-ranked defense. That's a massive mismatch. Utah's offensive line is an absolute monster unit. They were named a semifinalist for the Joe Moore Award, and they deserve it. Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu are both getting all Big 12 and All-America buzz, and could be high NFL draft picks come April. Coach Whittingham called this the best offensive line he's ever coached, and they've backed that up all season. The Utes ran for 292 yards against Kansas State, even with all the defensive struggles. Wayshawn Parker just notched his 4th straight 100-yard game. Devin Dampier added 94 yards and 2 scores. And freshman Bird Ficklin, 3 touchdowns on 54 yards. This rushing attack is rolling. Kansas ranks 110th nationally in yards per carry allowed and 124th in explosive rushing plays allowed. That's exactly the kind of defense Utah wants to see. Expect offensive coordinator Jason Beck to dial up a balanced, dynamic attack that keeps Kansas guessing all game long. Now let's address the elephant in the room: Utah's defense. After Saturday's breakdown, Utah dropped from 17th to 35th in opponent-adjusted defensive rankings. Their 8.8 yards per play allowed was the worst since that 2021 Rose Bowl shootout loss to Ohio State. Not exactly the kind of history you want to make. They also fell from 32nd to 58th in rush defense rankings. On the season, they've allowed 1,104 rushing yards, their worst in over a decade. And to make matters worse, star defensive end John Henry Daly is out for the rest of the season. He had 11.5 sacks, second in the entire Power 4. But here's the thing, don't expect another 472-yard rushing disaster. Kansas isn't Kansas State. While the Jayhawks have been a top 3 Big 12 rushing team from 2022 to 2024, they've struggled this year. They're 8th in the conference in yards per carry and 12th in rushing yards per game. Instead, Kansas has found success through the air. Jalon Daniels is in his 6th season and having the best passing year of his career with 21 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. Utah's pass defense ranks 9th in the Power 4, so this is actually where they match up well. Bottom line, this Friday's game is absolutely crucial for Utah. Win, and they keep their Big 12 and playoff dreams alive heading into championship weekend. Lose, and it's all over. The good news? Utah has the better team on paper, especially on offense. Their offensive line should dominate, the running game should feast, and the defense, even after that Kansas State disaster, should be able to slow down a Kansas offense that's been inconsistent all year. This is a game Utah should win, and after that incredible comeback on Saturday, the momentum is completely on their side. What do you think? Can Utah finish the regular season strong and keep their championship hopes alive? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more college football breakdowns all season long. Let's go Utes!